How's everyone doing today? My name is CJ Halleck, and this is the ultimate guide to come up with a stage name. Now, if you're looking for a stage name and you're trying to come up with the best stage name in the industry, this may be the most important video you ever watch. And the reason why I say that is we're going to be covering a lot of different things. When an artist is coming up with a rap name or stage name, they can find themselves in a circle not creating any music because they can't actually come up with a name. So before you start stressing about your name, remember that a name is only what you make it. And before we start getting into different ideas and tips for finding your rap name, I want to tell you a big secret. Rap names can change. Seriously, you're not locked into a name until you quote unquote make it. Sometimes it doesn't even matter at that point. Think about J. Cole. He wasn't always J. Cole. His old stage name was The Therapist. And he also went by Blazer, and 2 Chainz originally was known as Titty Boy. So all that being said, remember that you can change your name if you feel the need to, and just like you're going to be seeing in the videos as we continue to go through rap basics, I'm actually in the process of changing my name and starting completely over with an old stage name I used to go by, and we'll get to that in a second. The next question is, can you stand behind the name? Only you know who you are, so when you are coming up with the stage name, you need to ask yourself, is this name you want to stand behind for the rest of your life? You need to look up if the words you are using or phrases or whatever it is a word, does it mean something in a different language? What does it stand for? Is there a negative vibe around that word or that name? Be sure to use your better judgment. You also want to be sure that you have a name that is easy to remember and easy to spell. So if you follow Gary Vaynerchuk, and if you don't, you should, you've probably heard him talk about the worst branding move ever as he started his Twitter account as Gary V with 2 silent E's at the end, making it super hard to remember and having to remind people every time you say follow me on Twitter, it's Gary V with 2 silent E's at the end. So you want to make sure it's easy to remember and easy to spell. As you're going through trying to figure out what stage name you're going to land on, there's a few things that might actually help. Of course, you can always start with your actual name. We covered J. Cole changing his name from The Therapist, but let's look at his actual name, Jermaine Cole. Now, if your name is Jeremy Cole, I wouldn't recommend using J. Cole because it wouldn't be original. But don't worry, I'll cover originality in a little bit. The next thing is maybe your favorite characters. Doesn't matter if it's a character from a TV show or your favorite book or a cartoon. Just use this as a base to get creative. Think about your random interests. You may be obsessed with a story, Greek gods, and decide to merge multiple names. The character Chronocom that I'm doing kind of with Lion's Order, but kind of as an individual project that I'm going to be working on in 2021, is basically a mix between Kronos and Genghis Khan. Just get creative. The next thing, rap name generators. They're a little cheesy sometimes, but you never know what kind of ideas you can come up with. And even if you use a rap name generator, sometimes you find people like Post Malone, who's a platinum selling artist. Whether you love him or hate him, the name's unique and he used a rap name generator and he's talked about it many times. Now, if you have the Rap Basics worksheet, from this point forward, we're going to be using the worksheet and going through every single step. And I'm going to walk you through on the screen how to actually go through with me to check not only for trademarks, but also to make sure that the username is available and the domain is available as well for the actual username. And we're going to cover the difference between a username and your stage name here in a second. So let's go ahead and hop on over to the browser. Like I said, you're going to need the stage name worksheet, so be sure to download that. You can do that by going to rapbasics.com, click on the Academy in the header, and then from there you'll just click on the rap name icon, and that will bring you to this page. So you can just click on this, it'll automatically download it by clicking on the button. And then there's also the links over here to the side that we're going to be going through as we get our names straight. First thing we're going to do is go to Trademarkia and search for the actual name that we want to use. This is going to be a deal killer. If your name is trademarked by another artist or someone else in your industry, you're not going to be able to use it. So the first thing you're going to want to do, I'm going to come in and I'm going to just type S-Lock, hit enter, And then now there's 2 different trademarks. Now one of them is not a live trademark, so it doesn't matter, it's been abandoned. This one is registered and live, but if you look at it, one, the trademark is slock.it. It's not just slock, and it has nothing to do with music. You're good to go. So common sense, you can tell by the description, the mark name as it says here. You want to make sure that the name itself, your stage name itself, is not trademarked. There's only a couple small things that you want to look for before you're 100% locked into the stage name itself, and that is to do a quick Google search and YouTube search and see what comes back. So I'm on google.com. I'm going to go ahead and type in slock, and I'm going to see what comes back and make sure there's nothing bad against the name. It looks like it's just a threaded lock or a clasp for like bracelets and wires. You know, if you really look into like what people are searching when they search slock, what the results are coming back, it's nothing that's going to be like negative. At least nothing that I'm seeing right now. So I mean, I'm just looking, everything seems to be good. Alright, so that being said, I'm cool with the Google search. We're going to YouTube and we're going to do the same thing, and something tells me we're going to get the exact same results, and we are. So it's all different things, you know, and this, I don't even know why it's ranking for slock. It has an S at the end of something. So I think we're good as far as the name's concerned to stick with slock as the stage name. The next thing we're going to need is a handle to make sure that we can use something that is branded in uniform across every platform, whether it's, you know, at, you know, CJ Halleck on Instagram for my personal account, or at CJ Halleck on Twitter, at whatever, you know. And I'm saying because I know for a fact slock is going to be taken. I've done some searches so you guys didn't have to watch me go through the madness. But I will show you what happens when you do a search and a lot of things are taken, and then I'll show you the best results you can get, because not everything actually checks out inside of Noam, and that's a few things that we're going to cover here in a second. So when you do a search, you'll see most of the time it will show you if it's taken by just putting a line through available and graying out the option. SoundCloud always will show an error. I've not seen it actually work properly, not in a while at least. Of course, you see the .com is taken. Most of the time I won't do anything unless it's the .com. If you want to use another one, you can, but I wouldn't unless you can get the .com, just to be safe. And their trademark search is a little bit more broad, and it doesn't matter if the trademark itself is just that, or if it's something else with the slock inside of it, or whatever your stage name is inside of it, it will show that. So kind of gives you a little bit more nonsense, but at the same time this lets you kind of see what's in your field, sort of. But as soon as you look at a thing and there's this many things taken, you might as well go ahead and give up, even though you only really want the primary platforms: Facebook, Instagram, SoundCloud, Twitter, YouTube, the .com, and of course your trademark. So we're going to go ahead and go to the next one, which I believe is official slock. I'm going to go ahead and do a search, and there's a few things, and then of course you see Twitter's taken, so automatically I got to go with something else. So I'm going to go ahead and try the final one, as long as no one grabbed it in the last 5 minutes, and do the lock on the mic and do search. And this is going to go ahead and do a search across the board. As you see, WordPress worked before, now it's showing an error. So sometimes WordPress doesn't work. Instagram, at my knowledge, it's been about a year at this point since Instagram has worked properly on here. Facebook is showing available. If we come down, lockonthemic.com is available. If we come down, the trademark is available. So at this point, the only thing left to do is to physically check Instagram and SoundCloud. Since we are doing this for our music, we'll need to make sure those are both good. So we're going to just, on the browser itself, don't do this inside of the app, you're not going to get the same results. You'll come into the actual browser address bar, and then you're going to type in the actual username you want. So we're going to put lock on the mic and hit enter or return. And if you see the page that says sorry, this page isn't available, there's a very good chance that that's available. There's no guarantees. Sometimes I'll see it pop up and have a profile after, you know, I've searched 3 or 4 times. But most of the time, this is a very good sign when you see this in the search phase. So the next thing is we're going to do the exact same thing. I'm going to actually come over here and copy it to make sure we got it right. And then I'm going to come to SoundCloud and I'm going to paste that in after that. There we go. Alright, now if we hit enter or return, it will bring up the same basic "that's not here" message. So that basically means that you're good to go with SoundCloud. Now for email, there used to be a Gmail, I believe it was checkgmailavailability.com or .net, one of the two. Unfortunately, the last few times I've used it, it goes kind of haywire and you don't know if it's working or not. But no worries, because at this point, we should be pretty solid on what we're going to use for the name. If it's available on all these platforms across the board, you should be good to go. So the next thing is to actually create the Gmail account and the Gmail address anyways. So we're going to go ahead and do that next. Hope this has helped you. Follow up in the next video and we'll be creating our Gmail address. Y'all have a good one. Take care.